أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد ومحمد. يا أخواني وأخواتي، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear brothers and sisters, may the peace of Allah be upon you, inshallah, God willing. So, this is a continuation of the series devoted to the Malay art of self-defense. In fact, I use this content and the formation of this art, and if I had the choice, I can do with also some expression of martial art, but it is a good support for me. This is why I try to say, because it offers some insight, some example of the link between the discipline of martial arts and spirituality, which is a little lost these times with the formation and existence of separation, distinction for sport reason, for entertainment, and all that stuff. So there is a problem, a crisis in the way martial arts I practice it today. That's why you have some problem with ethics, adab, with use of steroids, for example, which is rampant in all contact sports and stuff like that. So we have, or we had in the past, a complete set of interrelated disciplines that was isolated one-to-one to form some sports, some elite sports, some even martial arts specialized only on using the fist, like boxing, like some styles, some only the legs, like taekwondo, or more prominent in the leg departments, some only grappling, some only grappling on the ground, some only throws like judo and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which is an expression of or reuse of the Newaza judo. It was the ground game part of judo and stuff like that. So there is some segmentation, some section were taken from what can be seen as an original martial art in the past. In the past, all things, all aspects were linked because it was thinking in other way, not to entertain people, but to have insan kamil, a complete man able to withstand all kind of scenarios with the use of his body. This is what martial arts and the bodies and weapons also. The two are related, and in many styles, and in styles like Anchak Silat, you have this link, which use techniques that you can translate also in Filipino martial arts and stuff like that. You can translate the technique empty-handed or heavily equipped with some weapon. It can be defensive weapon, it can be some or some knife or some kind of stick, stuff like that. But you can translate, the movement are the same. And if you look closely, the katas, for example, are developed for kobudo use. The katas from karate from Okinawa were developed to have weapon in the hand. And that's why the movement seems a little bit awkward, but it translates very well with the sai, for example, which is in fact the way the katas of karate were designed. They were not designed, even karate meant empty-handed, because in fact it is an empty-handed expression of an armed martial art, which is kobudo, from the same island, Okinawa, which had huge influence from the Philippines and also from Indonesia and also some part of China, but most notably from the islands, the Santara of the southeast. And in fact, Japan is the island of the northeast. So it makes sense. There was some connection, some traits. Assalamu alaikum, welcome. So, um, it is important to note that there is some biographical material on the founder of the style, Silat Seni Gayong, which is interesting. I'm not right now a practitioner of this style. I'm involved in martial arts since my youth, since around 6 years old, stuff like that. So I have my journey around many martial arts and stuff like that. But it is interesting. This style is and many of the Silat style are interesting because they have that spiritual dimension and some connection of the ancient way of doing, the original or the ancestral way of doing things in the martial arts, and even with some modernization and modern adaptation. And this is what is very interesting. So, the founder of the style, chapter 5, you got a picture of the man, a man who seems to have great conditioned body, natural. Here you can see a tiger with some Arabic writing, Allahu Akbar, stuff like that. So this is there is some relation. So Meor teaching Shindai movement. So in fact, he was teaching when doing this photo. So the name of their master's founder is Dato Meor Abdul Rahman, the Mahaguru of Silat Seni Gayong, a biography of him. This biography is interesting because there is what can be seen of some contradiction in this figure, but it is speaking of the era we live now, which is bound by colonialism, by clash of civilization, and all that stuff. So it is important to note. Many people like to portray great revolutionary figures like superhero, white in their doing and stuff like that, without blemish regarding their integrity. But in the past, and with the clash of civilization, with colonization, all that stuff, it was not always the case. You have to deal to survive. You have to be adaptable, or you can break, you can be crushed, you can be overcome. We are not don't have the same degree of the chosen ones, which are chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reform the world. So this is a thing to remember. So there is time to time some negotiation, some council of some kind between the real will of a person and what he must to do to protect his community, himself, his family, and all that stuff to a degree to another. So take this in mind. So Dato Meor Abdul Rahman, the Mahaguru of Silat Seni Gayong, so Grandmaster of Silat Seni Gayong, a biography. Meor Abdul Rahman, son of Uda Muht Hashim. So some Arabic name, was the originator and founder of Silat Seni Gayong. He was born on 17 August 1915 in Taiping, Perak. Perak is one of the 13 states in Malaysia. His mother was Sia Rifa Aluya, daughter of Sayyid Zain Al Atas. So, in fact, I have maybe to make some correction because this is how it is spelled, but in fact, his mother was in fact Sharifa. So Sharifa is a title, Aluya, Aliya, in fact. Sharifa Aliya is a title, Sharifa, from Shurafa, so noble descendant of Prophet Muhammad. Sharif, Sharifa. And she is the daughter of Sayyid. So Sayyid is a title for a descendant of the Prophet Muhammad. Zayn al-Attas. So he was basically what's called in the Iranian speaking language a Mirza, in fact. So his mother was a Sayyida, his father was not, but he, from his mother's side, related to the family of the Prophet Muhammad, or accepted like that in his country. I'm not gonna debate of the authenticity of the claim, but this is what is mentioned. He had a brother named Meor Aziz and a sister named Siti Sharifa. Before Meor Rahman was born, his mother had a dream that the child she was carrying would someday become a leader and warrior. Legend has it that Meor Rahman was born with an unformed twin. So he have a twin brother which was unformed, so dead born, and with some deformity, no viability. A little creature that looked like a worm. So this is a word of the author in the biography. This worm-like creature was kept in a coconut shell for a while and then released into the river in Perak called Teluk Kertang. According to his mother, this was a sign that one day he would become a respected and well-known warrior. So I don't know from which tradition come this interpretation, but it is interesting. The detail from the family, apparently, and with a high degree of disclosing. So it is interesting for the description of everybody to investigate. In his early years, not to mention also that originally الكشكول in which Imam Ali made sadaqah were made of coconut. So it was like a half coconut when used by Imam Ali bin Abi Talib alayhi salam to give charity to the poor at night. So this is an interesting detail, maybe linked, I don't know. In his early years, Meor Rahman received his education from a Malay school in a village of Pokok, Assam in Taiping. And in his adolescent year, attended King Edward's VII School, later joining a technical school until 1936. Meor Rahman began learning Silat when he was 12 years old from his grandfathers on his mother's side, Sayyid Zain Abidin Al-Attas. So in fact, the teacher of the founder of Silat Seni Gayong was a Sayyid, a direct descendant of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as it is stated here with the title Sayyid, which is not a transparent word, which and has a huge meaning in the Islamic tradition for those who are initiated. Meor Rahman began learning Silat when he was 12 years old from his grandfather on his mother's side, Sayyid Zain al-Abidin al-Attas. For those who don't know, Zain al-Abidin is also the name of Imam Sajjad, Ali Zain al-Abidin, which is the fourth Imam of the 12th Imam of Ahlul Bayt of the Itna Ashariya, and he's the son of Al Imam Al Hussein, the surviving son of Al Imam Al Hussein. Salamallah alayhim. Who inherited Gayong from Deng Ongbok Solok, a Bugis warrior residing in Jambi, Sumatra. So this is, in fact, we learn that even the founder of Seni Gayong was not the founder of Seni Gayong. He was a muassis, mujaddid. He reinforced an existing tradition transmitted by his grandfather, which was a descendant of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the name of Zayn al-Abidin al-Attash. When Meor Rahman, I have to look to make some research. It is Attash. It is Attash. It is linked to the lexical area of to have thirst in Arabic. Atchan. And one of the characteristics of Imam Hussein and his family was, and his companion during his last days, where they went subject to intense thirst, because their enemy cutted the water to reach them. So Atchan in Arabic means to have a great thirst. When Meor Rahman was small, he heard many stories from his grandfather about legendary Malay warriors. He spent 4 solid years learning the Selok Belok detail from his grandfather. Then his grandfather told him that he would finish his training someday in the southern border of Thailand. So it was, in fact, the Sultanate of Patani at this age. With a mysterious being. After completing school, he spent most of his time visiting his brother-in-law, who worked as a police officer in the area. There he took the opportunity to expand his Silat knowledge by learning from different Silat gurus. So in fact, he completed his learning with several different masters, and there is many styles in Silat, many variation, which can be complementary or with because they have different application of the principles and stuff like that. So it is interesting to learn many style when you have the opportunity to do, to do so, even for your fight IQ. However, his Silat knowledge was much higher than the other guru. Many Silat masters challenged Meor, but no one were equivalent to him. So he was ahead of his peers. Meor regularly went hunting for birds and wild roosters. One day, he and his friend were hunting, and he wandered into the tropical forest near southern Thailand border. He met an old man named Pak Sho, who took him in as his adopted son. Knowing that Meor had a background as a warrior, he introduced him to Lim Chun. They have some Chinese name. Lim had arranged many competitions for Meor with several Muay Thai fighters. For those who don't know, there is in southern Thailand, this is the second greatest region of production of champion in Thailand. You have the Northeast, the Isan, with Lao-speaking people, and the region of Buriram. And I have had the opportunity in 2005 to train at Chachengsao, which is not too far away, with the great champion Bwakao Porpramuk, Chokdi Porpramuk, Nontanan Porpramuk. I was here to try to reach Namsak Noi, Yutakan Canton at the time, but was unable because he had just left because he had a big problem with the owner of the camp. So there is traditionally two area of champion in Thailand. So the Northeast, and I also trained in Jockey Gym, for those who don't know, in 2003, and fight for Porpramuk and Jockey Gym, even fight in China and stuff like that, and Thailand also. And even Jockey Gym, which is in Bangpo, Bangkok, near Talat Kema, the Kema market, is near another great camp which is full of people from southern Thailand. And I see there, this is the first time I met here the trainer of Bwakao Porpramuk and the Porpramuk gym, which was Ajahn Chut. I see him there for the first time. And I also seen Kaulan Kauvichit at this time. Also Pornpitak Pechudamshai, for those who don't know. Another Muslim. Kaulan is a Muslim also. Pornpitak is a Muslim also. And also I forget. Another champion, original from Krabi, but I don't remember his name. I also saw Ritidet, which was a great champion before, and many more. So there is two areas of high importance in Thailand to produce champion. There is the Northeast, which is Isan, with some people from Lao ethnicity, and some Cambodian ethnicity also. You have fighters like Singdam, Kiat stuff like that, Bwakao Popramuk, Samkor, Kiat stuff like that, which have strong Cambodian genetic in them. And you have fighters from the south, which is in fact closer to Malay people. And you have also a Malay version of Muay Thai, which is called Tomoy. So there is some. That's why, in fact, he was able to fight many Muay Thai fighter. So Lim arranged many competition from here with several Muay Thai fighter, and this is some Muay Thai fighter of high caliber in the region. Not easy jam. Because of Meor's excellent performance, he won many fights and was granted the title of Pandekar. Pandekar means warrior in Malay. It's interesting because he fought had the opportunity to fight, in fact, in Muay Thai, if I understand correctly, which is a style with which is not joking. You have to understand the way Muay Thai. You can't make so much mistake in Muay Thai. So he was a valuable fighter and did pretty well, pretty good. Meor finally reached a place called Mi Nam in southern Thailand, and he met a person he already knew, Tok Mekja. It was at Mi Nam that the strange incident vaguely described by his grandfather happened. So his grandfather, the Sayyid, gave him a vision, I don't know, from the future, المستقبل, and it happened. One day, feeling fatigued, he fell asleep on top of a giant black rock near the river. Nam, I think, mean in Thai language, water. He dreamed of a mysterious being dressed as the traditional Mali warriors who approached him and introduced himself as the legendary Hong Tua. So Hong Tua is one of the symbols of the Mali culture. It's a hero of the Mali culture. For more information, read the Who Was Hong Tua section. There is even a biography of Hong Tua in the book. He instructed him to visit and pledge his loyalty to the Sultan of Perak. Which is interesting here is that the word loyalty in French, loyauté, is a straight rip from the Arabic al-walaya, تحت ولايتي. والولاية is the thing that go first above the bound of صلة الرحم, which is the blood relation. Al-walaya is above. It's like an allegiance that you put above even your blood relative, your father, your mother, etc. And this is very evident in the conception of walaya in tashayyu, in Shi'ism, for example. So he instructed him to visit and pledge his loyalty to the Sultan of Perak, so a Muslim leader. In his dream, Meor was given the essence and secret of Silat, and when he woke, he experienced strange sensations and possessed amazing strength. So he became stronger, being proved himself as a warrior, etc. There was an increase in his strength after this encounter. He later informed his parents of this occurrence and then offered to serve the Sultan of Perak. So he gave some news back to his parents, who transmitted some event of the future, some prediction. Sultan along Iskandar. So Iskandar is the Arabic version of Alexander. Meor Rahman demonstrated his amazing skills and strength, and the Sultan was greatly impressed and ultimately granted him the title of Rahman Sendo. So Rahman Sendo. And it is explained like the invisible warrior of Perak. So Sendo mean maybe invincible warrior, and Rahman is for his first name. Some of his strength included bending a 9-inch nail with his bare hands, tug of war against multiple people, and folding a coin similar to the size to a quarter. So he developed some great strength, which can be understood as over the common or surhuman, I don't know. Meor Rahman became the adopted son of the Sultan and lived with him until the Sultan passed away in 1938. While he was in Taiping, Meor taught Silat Seni Gayong to some of his very close friends. His friends called him Rahman the Strong Man. At the same time, the Sultan of the state of Kedah declared Meor Rahman the Mahaguru, so the great master. After the Sultan of Perak died, Mir Rahman moved to Singapore, then a Malaysian state, in search of a better life. He worked at several jobs and later served with the British Royal Signal Corps. At Gilman Barracks, under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Pope. While there, a martial arts teacher challenged him to combat, and Mir Rahman was able to overcome him. He then became a combat instructor to coach the British Army in unarmed self-defense. He was the first Malay to hold such a position in the British government. When the Japanese attacked Singapore in 1942, Meor was interested to relocate to the nearby Sudong Island. Before being allowed to reside on Sudong Island, he was required to challenge Pandekar Wak Kusang, a group leader on the island. So they arranged a fight for the direction of the island. Meor successfully accomplished the task in order to protect the inhabitants from being crushed by the Japanese army in early 1942. Gayong was introduced to several chosen people. These people, along with the intelligence plan from Meor Rahman, secured the island. So he was a strategist also. The Japanese army left the people of the island alone. During the Japanese occupation in Malaysia, 1942, Mir Rahman was detained for resisting the Japanese troop and for injuring a Japanese soldier in order to protect his family. He was sentenced to death by hanging. In order to avoid the death sentence, he served in the Japanese army. So you can see that the man was some kinds of hero, was characterized as such by some sultan from the people of the time, but he had the flexibility to adapt the odds. And maybe to reach a higher status than simply dying at the end of the enemies by transmitting something more constructive for the later generations. So, in order to avoid the death sentence, he served in the Japanese army. In 1945, when the Japanese surrendered, Mir Rahman went back to Singapore, where the Sudong Island resident offered him to work as Penggulu, chief of the village. He was chief of the village for 2 years and then joined the British government to work as a detective. In appreciation for his bravery in opposing the Japanese occupation of the island of Sudong, he was awarded the King George V Medal of Honor by the British government on December 23, 1947. During Meor's stay in Sudong Island, Silat Seni Gayong began to proliferate from Sudong to Sembilan, Singking, Semulon, Bukum, Semantan, and all the Indonesian islands surrounding the area. And you can see here in Arabic, Silat Gayong, and here Bismillah Rahman Rahim, and also here the sword of Zulfiqar. And also a dragon all around the world, and a moon, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe a shield. I don't know, round shield. During Meor Gayong's stay in Sodong Island, Silat Seni Gayong began to proliferate, etc., etc., various region and all of the Indonesian islands surrounding the area, including Gerating and Terong. Sodong Island becomes the center of Gayong. At the end of 1949, Gayong was widely spread over Singapore and the Malay Peninsula. In the mid-1950s, many actors and actresses began to join Gayong. In 1956, a very significant and respected Malay political figure, Dato Rahman Meor, joined Gayong. He was endorsed as the advisor of Silat Seni Gayong tradition and culture. In early 1957, Meor Rahman organized an exhibition of Silat demonstrations in the state of Kedah. This was the first organized event, and the main objective was to propagate Gayong to Malaysian society. In 1959, the first institution of Gayong was established in Woodlands, Singapore. It was led by Meor Rahman. From this academy, more Gayong instructors were produced. In 1961, Meor Rahman retired from government work and started his own business. By then, Silat Seni Gayong had spread throughout the Malay Peninsula. Meor Rahman was determined to bring more instructors to be supervised by he and his brother Meor Aziz to teach Gayong at designated locations. On October 22, 1963, Dato Rahman Meor saw the possibility of forming an association to portray the art in its genuine state. This was the first Silat ever recorded in Malaysia under the name of Silat Seni Gayong with the registered number 3061. It is an interesting number, 3061. For those not know, if you make 19 multiple by itself, it gives you the 361. The current registered number is APS 0140 49 98. The headquarters was moved from Woodlands to Kota Sarong Semut in the state of Johor. So in 1964, a massive Gayong exhibition was arranged in the North Malay Peninsula. Due to the tremendous success of the demonstration, the Sultan of Kedah appointed Meor Rahman to teach Gayong to the people of the state of Kedah. Many high-ranking elected officials in Malaysia began to practice Gayong. So towards the end of 1969, Meor Rahman moved back to Taiping with assistance from some high-ranking Gayong instructor. A Gayong curriculum was systematically organized. On January 27, 1971, Air Kuning in Taiping was established as the highest Gayong training centers in Malaysia. In the same year, the new Sultan of Perak, Sultan Idris Shah, awarded Meor Rahman a Darja Kebasaran Paduka Kura Si Manja Kini Medal of Honor for his merit to the country. So Darja is in fact Daraja, so a degree of reckoning entitling him to be called Dato. So the term Dato maybe derived from the Arabic Hadrat, which means presence, which is an honorific name, was used after this honor. A few years later, Sultan Idris Shah joined Gayong and was given the title of Sangsa Purba. By then, Dato Meor name had become well known throughout Malaysia. His popularity reached the famous Hong Kong martial artist Bruce Lee. So, while traveling from London to Malaysia with his friend Tuan Sayyid Jamalul Layl. So while traveling from London to Malaysia with friend Tuan Sayyid Jamalul Layl, Dato Meor met Bruce Lee at the Hong Kong airport. After introduction, Lee offered him a part in his movie, The Game of Death. They did manage to exchange a few moves, information, and views on Malay and Chinese self-defense. Lee acknowledged the outstanding skill of Dato Rahman and his Silat Seni Gayong. So we got here a picture of Dato Meor. It had good, natural, strong body construction in 1975. You can see here the proponents of his body build. And here a picture of the famous Bruce Lee, actor and martial artist and innovator of the system of Jet Kundo, which is a summation of many systems to reach efficiency. So Gayong continued to broaden, and by 1976, it was estimated that practitioners of Gayong had reached more than 150,000. Later, the Malaysian Army and the Royal Malaysian Police Group started to apply Gayong as a method of self-defense. Towards the end of 1980, several local and foreign martial artists confronted and challenged Dato, but they were all respectfully declined. Picture of the following page show Dato Meor Rahman in his 17th. So here you can see him at 70-year-old with a strong body build. Towards the end of his life, Dato Meor reminded his people to always unite. Youngsters were encouraged to learn Gayong, and they were reminded that every Gayong student is obligated to preserve Silat Seni Gayong. On June 23, 1991, Dato Meor Abdul Rahman passed away. He was 76 years old. He was buried at Masjid Lama in Taiping, Perak. His skill in Silat as a pendekar, rahmatullah ta'ala alayh. I don't know everything about him, but I wish he will be offered paradise, inshallah. His skill in Silat as a pendekar and Mahaguru is acknowledged by society. Before he died, Dato Meor told all Gayong practitioners that there will be no more Mahaguru of Silat Seni Gayong after his death. So he closed the cycle. Silat Seni Gayong is entrusted to the committees that govern the Gayong organization. Before he passed away, he selected his daughter Siggu Siti Kelsoum as the first Gayong trustee and Siku Razali Saleh as the second. Siku Razali passed away in early 2001. There are 4 historical Gayong places of importance that Dato Rahman named before he died. There are places that Gayong students should visit when they have the opportunity. So the first one is Padang Anta Beranta in the state of Perak. This is where the government of Ganga Negara was formed. Padang Sanai in the state of Kedah. This is where Mahaguru Dato Meor Rahman completed his Silat education. The third is Sudong Island in Singapore. This is where Gayong was introduced to the public. And Sedili, lastly, Sedili in the state of Johor, what the Grandmaster before he died cryptically referred as the end of Gayong. So they say the site of and closing of this specific art. So a very interesting biography of an impacting master, an important personality in the world of martial art, with a very interesting history that can benefits all, inshallah. اللهم صل على محمد ومحمد. التمس الدعاء. الله معكم إلى اللقاء، مع السلامة.